Police are investigating a new campaign of violence by the Animal Liberation Front against butchers in Oxford. 30 butchers' shops in the city have been attacked over the last 2 weeks. Police say missiles like ball bearings, marbles and air pellets have been fired through shop windows, causing thousands of pounds worth of damage. Similar attacks are being carried out against butchers' shops in London. The animal liberationists' original tactics involved raids on laboratories to free animals used in experiments. ALF members are shown here breaking into an Oxford University animal centre. But methods have become more violent in recent years, a development which some campaigners say is justifiable and necessary to stop animal suffering. The violence has been vehemently opposed by the RSPCA, who say legal, peaceful methods are the most effective. Well, the two sides will be arguing the issues involved in a public debate in London tonight. Earlier, I spoke to Robin Webb, a member of the RSPCA Council, and John Curtin from the Animal Liberation Front, who's been to prison following numerous ALF attacks he's taken part in. I asked Robin Webb first what he thought attacking butchers' shops achieved.
I don't think they achieved much at all. They close down small butcher shops, the customers then go on to other shops and supermarkets. It's not cutting down the number of animals killed for meat. I'm concerned about the animals which are suffering on farms and in slaughterhouses and in transport now, not in the future.
John Curtin, as a member of the Animal Liberation Front and a fellow who's done his fair share of criminal damage for the cause, what do you believe attacking a butcher shop in North London does?
Well, basically, put yourselves in the shoes of that animal abuser, put yourselves in the shoes of that butcher. What could you least do without? You could least do without thousands of pounds worth of damage done to your shop week in, week out. Your insurance premium will soar. Like Mr. Webb pointed out, you will go out of business.
But what gives you the right to impose your opinions on the majority of the population in Britain who are carnivores, not vegans like you are?
The right that I see is the right to defend the otherwise defenceless. What right has anyone got to inflict torture and pain on animals? The animals are defenceless without us.
You seem to be starting from the point of view that animals and human beings have the same right to live, the same right to be protected from cruelty of one description or another.
That's common sense, yes, surely we all have the right to live without pain and suffering, needless pain and suffering.
Robin Webb, do you start from that point of view as well?
I agree, certainly, but whilst we are using them in our society, we should treat them the best way we possibly can, and that's what the RSPCA strives to do.
The best way we possibly can. This country, Britain, the nation of animal lovers, it's a nightmare for animals in this country. The figures are just mind-boggling. 450 million animals slaughtered for the table every year.
For the last 10 years, the number of animal experiments has been coming down, and that coincides with the rise of the animal liberation movement.
We are down to 3.5 million from 6 million, and certainly it is an indication of the awareness of the public and the RSPCA's great education programmes and education of other societies. What I am concerned about is animals are suffering and the law is not adequate. We are aiming to strengthen the law. We can sit down and negotiate. What the ALF cannot do is negotiate with those who can change things.
Look at the laws that have been negotiated. The 1986 Scientific Procedures Act. The animal rights movement waited 100 years for this new law to come about. And with the compliance of the RSPCA, what did it achieve? It didn't ban one single animal experiment. Indeed, it legalised many that were previously illegal. Look at the corrupt laws like the 1954 Protection of Birds Act, where it's illegal to keep a bird in a cage where it can't spread its wings.
Just a second. Isn't there a danger that if you resort to illegal behaviour and indeed violent behaviour, that ultimately you will damage the very cause you're trying to help?
Like I said before, the Animal Liberation Front don't do these acts to be patted on the head by members of the public. They will do what works, and if it saves lives, they will do it.
Yes, but when you seriously injure 13-month-old babies with shrapnel and burns, you repel a large proportion of the people of Britain.
I do not accept for one second that that was the work of the Animal Liberation Front. There is such a thing in this country as the Dirty Tricks Department.
The Animal Liberation Front said, following that attack, he compared animal researchers to Nazi torturers, which many people find deeply offensive.
What's offensive about that? Torture is torture. The vivisectors from all over the world flocked to the concentration camps in the war because they loved the chance of getting hold of human beings. These people were used to the screams.
Don't you think it's arguments like that, actually, which have marginalised the Animal Liberation Front and indeed, to an extent, part of their argument?
It has indeed. What we try to do is we recognise that we have the common ground of being absolutely appalled on what's being done for animals. It is an absolute nightmare out there for the animals. However, the public cannot pick up a telephone to ask Yelf for help. What it can do is pick up a telephone to the RSPCA or Blue Cross.
It's a nightmare out there for human beings as well, who surely they deserve to have medicine fighting on their behalf, medicine fighting for new vaccines and things of that ilk. If you abandon animal experiments completely, surely you'd set back the cause of medical research.
No, if you abandon animal experiments, I think we will take great steps forward, because an experiment on a laboratory rat is only relevant to that particular rat.
Look at how the
Do you
facts
honestly
stand.
believe that carrying out experiments on a piece of human tissue in a test tube is actually more effective and closer to reality than carrying out an experiment on a monkey or a dog or a rat?
It's the technique you've just described is obviously scientifically superior to butchering animals. You asked Mr. Webb the question there, but look how the facts started to come out. They didn't come out through the RSPCA inspector knocking at the door, please come in and inspect your laboratory. They came out as a result of Animal Liberation Front smashing the doors down. That's unfortunate, but that's the way it was.
Mimi now is restored to her once wondrous beauty, as is Scott.
Shopping can be fun. Mr. Smith from